Year was good, y'all out there. I'd like to welcome y'all into the seventh episode of
It's not, bro, but it's fine. It's the sixth.
sixth episode of Sideline
Just talked
Chatter.
about it 30 seconds before we started, but
I'm here on a nice Monday night. Got some two games going on. I'm here with my boy James. What's going on tonight, Brody?
yo, I'm doing great, bro. You're out here giving me some laughs nice and early. Damn, that's good stuff. I'm doing good though. Looking like 3-2 across 5 leagues this weekend, so never gonna complain about that.
Positive.
How about you, Chief? How you doing?
Doing all right. Went I think 1-3 across my four leagues, but the one was in my most important league, so I guess I'll take it.
Mm, 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 mm.
So we'd like to be 4-0 with a clean slate around here, but what you gonna do? Win some, lose some, bounce back. We also got
That's the name of the
the
game,
Halloween vibes going on around here.
sir.
Had to switch up the scenery for y'all. I know it was getting dry with
I know
the
y'all
same
are
three
tired of looking
jerseys.
at that Chad Johnson jersey, that pointless ass Ben Simmons jersey.
An upside down Knicks hat. We got some skulls and some spiders and shit. So
Yeah,
got the costumes on. Dark Voyager. Shout out Fortnite.
shout out Dwight K. Schrute. All my Office fans
Big
out there.
office guy over there.
I'm the biggest Office guy.
See, you see me on the sticks with it. Crank some 90s.
I don't even know what that means.
But all right, we had an interesting week. The week 6 NFL season. So it was all right.
I feel like it was a really weird weekend.
Yeah, it was some. Wasn't that many like huge performances.
There was a lot of high scoring game, but there wasn't a lot of like crazy fantasy stat lines.
Mhm.
It's very
There's a few,
weird,
though.
very strange.
So we're going to recap the breakouts and some of the Duttersons.
Shout out them Duttersons.
Then we got some injuries to cover and some waiver ads for the next week. So let's get into it. I think the biggest takeaway or the biggest performance this week was King Henry.
King Plod, guy broke through finally.
22 carries for 212 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 targets, which you'd like to see out of him, 2 catches for 52 yards. He had that big screen in overtime. That's the reason I won this week. One of the main reasons I won. He had like
Crazy.
45 for me this week.
Fucking Lebo guy went off. Yeah.
But I think Henry's good for like probably 2 to 3 games like this during the season where
Which
he's
is
just
crazy to say.
Yeah.
Like, it's true, but like it's
like if you had Henry, you won.
unfathomable to say that.
I was looking at my phone. He had like 105 rushing yards at this time. Popped off the 97-yard TD. So I got the 150 bonus, the 200 bonus, the 97 yards, and the touch. It was like a 20-point play. It was insane.
It's ridiculous.
But and 5 targets, which is just at a career high for him.
Probably you would know more than I would, but yeah.
He still doesn't get enough snap time. McNichols
Evans.
McNichols and Darrington Evans playing too much for my liking, but hey, he ate. I ain't complaining.
So yeah, if you had Derrick Henry and you lost, I would
You
would
suck.
very much like to see a screenshot of that.
Right.
So let's see that if it's even possible. But
First round pick coming through. So for
that's
once.
what you want to see.
Or-
Yeah, win your week.
He's been kind of hot, but yeah. Who you want to talk about next?
Think about people's least favorite quarterback in the NFL these days. I guess Matty Ice, guy's good. Guy finishes top 10 every year, and had a couple bad weeks, and
3 in a row, yeah.
people were quitting on him. But
I think stands out here was like Julio was back and healthy.
yeah,
So I feel
it
like
helps.
Yeah, it helped like a ton. He also had the long touchdown toss to him
370 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. That's what we like to see.
against a shitty Vikings team. The team's just, I think I talk about them every week how ridiculous they are as a team, but Matt Ryan, he'll have games like this.
Yeah. I think this is more likely than the bad games. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Well, he had 1 TD in the last 3 weeks, which
Yeah.
is awful. Like I dropped him in Eric Sabato's league.
yeah, Jake dropped him this week, and then I
Yeah.
scooped him. Now I have a nice, solid replacement for Lamar on the bye.
Yeah.
Shout out Jake.
Shout out James and Monsterson, guru.
Can't hear it.
Next we have his second appearance on this list. We have Justin Jefferson. 11 targets, 9 catches, 166 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
First touchdown was fun as hell. When he reached,
Oh, yeah, they reached when he
yeah,
reached.
across.
I'm loving it. I own him and Henry, so I was insane this week. I think like this is his upside. Like this is like it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Well, he's also my keeper, so I get to keep him for next year because I drafted him around 13. But I think it's him or Thielen every week's gonna like not push lines like this, but like they're both serviceable, obviously at this point.
Say they both scored, so I mean,
Yeah.
again, I feel like Either they neither score or they both score. Shit's like crazy.
As long as Kirk isn't doing no fuck shit.
I mean, even when it is,
Yeah.
he played like dog shit
The first half.
First half,
I was scared. I thought he was going to get benched, and then
he
the whole
started
team was
turning
going to.
up.
He was chucking in the second half. But now Jefferson, I think he's like a wide receiver, like 2 now, almost, with the obvious one upside.
He's God. Justin's got him. Oh my God. Kelsey scored his second touchdown.
Did he?
Yeah.
We're doing this live during the game.
Q-Bird.
Facts.
Going off. But yeah. Got Mahomes 2
Especially
weeks. Take it.
Especially the Vikings D being this shitty. I think him and Thielen are both viable. Well, obviously viable, but great receivers to have. Next we had, this is one of my buy low candidates I have for y'all, as I'm pretty proud to say, Deshaun Watson. He had 335 passing yards, 4 passing TDs, and also 26 rushing yards to add. I was telling y'all, Bill O'Brien got out. Big Romeo Cornell stepping in, slinging it.
Fun coach. They went for 2 to put him up 9 at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Very fun decision. He's a fun coach. He's nothing to lose as a coach. It's just.
But obviously this is what we expected from Watson. And I think owners are starting to finally realize why they took him pretty high, like a top 5 quarterback. So I think this is more of what we're going to see.
Do you see his stats already? Did you say it?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
So
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he had like 36 fantasy points in our league. So.
And Will Fuller.
Yeah.
Turning into Hop 2.0. Guy's ridiculous.
3.0 facts. 11 targets, 6 catches, 123 yards, and also a touchdown. Which is
4 straight games with a touchdown?
4 straight.
It's ridiculous.
He hasn't had less than 13 fantasy points. Besides the 1 week he had 0, which was like...
It's probably even more than that. Our league's standard.
Right.
Probably even more than that PPR.
But his floor is obviously he's been insane this year. And obviously he was always good when he was healthy, but his only problem was like he was made of glass. But he's lasting this season.
Made of glass.
So, and he can also catch he had like a 50-yard TD.
Yeah.
So Wilfo, I think he's like a high end too at this point.
Yeah,
Maybe a 1.
Probably. Yeah. You could say he's in that back end 1 conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Every week production.
I only got him in 1 league too. I'm in 4. Which is kind of mad about.
But you got him in none, so.
Our next one is probably our most interesting take was DeAndre Swift, who had 14 carries, which is a season high for him, 116 yards, also season high, and season high 2 touchdowns as well. Season high. That's all you need to know, basically. 4 targets to go with that as well.
Another bad drop. Another bad drop. Remember, like 2 weeks ago, he dropped a touchdown to win the game, and I don't think it was. It might have been a touchdown this week. He caught it was like a swing pass with no one in front of him, wide open, and dropped it.
Oh shit!
It probably would have been like another chunky ass.
But if you stashed him the whole year and you drafted him and stashed him on your bench, like Olsen did, I think this could be like a difference maker down the.
You think he keeps
second half?
You think he keeps it up?
I mean, like the Lions would be idiots if they didn't give him like more touches like this. Like you're giving old Adrian Peterson all these touches. I mean, like, come on, you give the rookie the touches. He's obviously the best running back there. Carry-on's like washed. So.
Q probably only hearing that. It says RB2. Give him talk shit about. Second best running back.
Right. But no, Swift, I think.
No, I think
he could be a fun player to own, like down the stretch.
I think he should be someone that continues to see the volume that he saw today. I mean, like you said, it would make no sense for them not to do that.
Right. If you were able to buy low on him, that would have been like insane. But I think after this game, like people are obviously excited to use him now. So I think he might be off like the market, kinda. Oh, fucking hot.
But check out the other video, Trade 101.
Oh yeah.
Try to go get Swift.
I should have mentioned at the beginning. We dropped a trade on how to trade video. It's like just 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
Go peep it. Show love. Show vibes.
You know the vibes. Last up here, we got Travis Fulgham again. 3 straight weeks on the list, guys. He's a god. See Eagles fans saying he's the best receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, right. But he had 10 targets, 6 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown again. Just 3 straight games with a touchdown. Did he score last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I think he's like the third Eagle receiver of all time to have a touchdown in 3 straight first games.
But obviously, he's Wentz's main target. 10 targets is obviously, you'd like to see that. Like, I picked him up in Jake's league, and I started Juju Smith-Schuster over him, and I'm done doing that. Because we'll get to him a little later, but I'm over him.
Like, he just, like, Wentz just, like, trusts him. Like
especially in the touchdown.
I say his touchdown. He literally there's a screenshot of Wentz like right as he was throwing it, and there's literally 4 Ravens uncontested within like 3 yards of him as he's just back foot throwing. He literally
the 4th down play.
Yeah, set hike, ran straight backwards off 1 foot, threw it straight up in the air, and triple coverage and Fulgham. The defenders kind of like weren't even like really near him, but there were 3 of them right there, and he just jumped up and caught it. Like, so obviously, like you said, he's Wentz's go-to now, and
especially with Ertz out now.
Yeah,
it just maybe even enhances him even more.
Yeah, he's gonna get fed.
Even when Deshaun and Alshon come back, I still think like
if they, it's the Eagles fan rant coming out. if those 2 come back healthy and they use him over Fulgham.
Stupid.
We're gonna riot. Riot in the streets.
Right. There's no reason not to play Fulgham, you know.
Shout out Birds fans. Had 5,000 people in the crowd, and people were getting in brawls still. Shout out Eagles fans.
Fun. But if he's still hanging around your waiver wire, go at him. He probably isn't.
Somehow.
Now, yeah. I'm starting next week, that's for sure. And he played the Giants Thursday night, which is kind of... They've been overperforming the Giants secondary, but...
Thursday nights.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think he'll have good value that game. But let's get to the Duddersons. First up, we have like probably the highest stream player across fantasy, freaking DFS. Was Alexander Madison. The Vikings had 10 carries, 26 yards, only 2 targets. In a game they were losing like the whole time. What do you think about this?
I mean, at-depth game script absolutely hurt him.
Yeah.
Usually they try to get out to a lead by running, like, taking air out of the ball, but they were down 3 touchdowns like quick as hell.
Right.
So, I mean, they kind of had to throw, but obviously 2.6 yards per carry is not going to get it done anyway, no matter what kind of volume you get. But, yeah, it really sucks because he was probably, well, I'm saying almost everybody thought it would be a top 5 play this week.
Right.
And for him to do that is...
especially against a shitty defense like the Falcons.
For him to do that, it's not good. Probably lost use of some games out there.
He only had 2 targets and only ran 13 routes, and the third string, Amir Abdullah, ran 12 routes, almost the same as him.
I didn't know he was on the team. I thought Mike Boone was a backup.
Yeah, he's like the punt returner and the kick returner, I think. But I think you thought he was like matchup proof, kind of. Even if they were to get down, you still think he would be in the game getting catches, but that obviously wasn't the case. So if Cook is out again, I think you're still starting him, but you should still
lower
temper expectations.
Yeah, big time.
Next, we have Mike Evans, who has been on this list before this year. 2 targets for the number 1 receiver.
38. They scored 38 points.
Yeah, scored 38 points, 1 catch, 10 yards. I warned everybody before the season started. I said Brady's taking over for Winston. Like, their receivers' numbers aren't going to be as big because like Brady doesn't heave like that. And I think we agree on this. Like, they want to establish the run more. Like, Ronald Jones is over 20 carries every game.
Yeah.
And Godwin played. We mentioned this before. Godwin played, and he put up 10 yards.
I was say Godwin outplayed Evans
as well.
Even though, it's crazy.
So, I mean, I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 anymore. I think he's probably a high end 2. He could always have big games like he did last week, but...
I mean, even if he gets his nasty-ass 1-yard touchdown on this stat line...
Yeah, still shitty.
He would take a touchdown, but he's gross. I'm saying if you take those less than 5-yard touchdowns away, he's probably having a really awful season.
Yeah. Touchdown deodorant, what they like to call it on Yahoo.
Nasty.
But he's changed since Jameis hasn't been there, and that's clear.
Yeah, he's gross now. Shout out Tyler for using him. Give me that dub.
Boom.
Give me that dub. Next up, we got Julian Edelman. Nasty game all the way around. The Pats and Broncos.
Shit.
I think there was... Did the Pats even score a touchdown?
I think Newton ran one in, right?
So 1 touchdown scored in the game?
In the game, yep.
It's awful.
I mean, I try to warn people about Newton. Like, I'm like timid on his like passing like numbers and his ability to pass and push the ball down the field. And obviously, we touched on this before. Like his receiving core, like you don't really want to own. Like what Patriot are you using in fantasy?
Damier Bird represent South Jersey.
Edelman 2 catches 8 yards. I don't know if you even said that yet.
No, I haven't said that.
Yeah, 2 catches 8 yards.
In a game they're trailing the whole time, which is when I mean, at least I thought that. I always said that Cam isn't going to be a good passer when they're winning, just because he's never going to throw the ball. Like they're going to rotate the backs and run with Cam, and they're going to run the ball 40 times if they're winning. But even in a game when they were losing, because the Seahawks game, he threw 350 yards because they were losing the whole time. This game they were losing the whole time, and they still couldn't get anything going. So I mean, maybe you could blame the COVID because they had to cancel. They didn't have practice on Friday or right before the game, maybe. But
like before his
nasty.
big game against the Seahawks, Edelman, he had 23 yards, 35 yards, and now 8 yards, which is like god awful.
Really
That's
terrible.
like he's on your bench. Only 6 targets in all those games too. So Tyler,
Terrible.
stop using him. If you need a trade, come talk to me. I don't want to see 8 yards in your flex, bro. Put Edelman on your benches until further notice.
Nasty.
Next, we got James Albers, idol, favorite player. Cooper Fupp,
It's not
Cooper
Darius
Kupp.
Slayton, and it's not Myles Gaskin. So,
Cooper Kupp, 3 catches, 11 yards.
and he didn't get anything until like late third quarter. It was bad.
Dropped.
Dropped a touchdown. Dropped another chunky pass before that. It's just it's not what you want to see, especially out of your favorite player. Not even fantasy involved, but
I guess that's why there's not a lot of white receivers in the league. Performances
I
like
don't think
that.
it has anything to do with that. I mean, we did
Performances like that.
just name Edelman too right before it, so maybe you're on to something over there. But it's just not what you want to see.
The Rams, they're so weird.
They're starting to look bad again.
Yeah.
They started off looking good. I feel like they do this every year, where they go through looking really good and then they suck for a stretch.
Everybody flames Goff for being like a one read only quarterback. It's like all I hear. It's like as soon as he has to check to his second read, he's like stinks.
And so you sometimes with this team you see that it's either a Woods week or a Cup week.
Yeah.
And I mean Woods really didn't even have that great of a game either.
Yeah.
He scored.
It's a good
So I mean, I don't know. I think you still use him every week just because of what he can do.
Yeah.
Usually he's that security blanket where he's getting like just chunky 10-yard catches right near the first down marker, like 8 for 100 type games. But his targets are still there. He still had 9 targets. Sucks that his efficiency was pretty bad, but I don't know. It's still there. The work is always there for him, so I don't think you ever get afraid of him really. Just nasty. Just nasty.
Next we have Odell. I think was on our
Yodel.
He was on our
famine.
Yeah, famine.
He was. He stinks.
2 for 25, 4 targets.
Browns as a whole got embarrassed.
I was worried about this because Browns have feasted on the shitty opponents, but every time they played someone good like the Ravens or the Steelers, they got their doors blown off. And whether it's Baker or Odell, probably more Baker.
I know that hurt you to say that. I know that pains you to talk bad about your boy. But
Baker.
I'm loving that over here. I love hearing that.
But I think this is a trend we can see. I think if they're playing a really tough defense, you can bench them.
Yeah.
I'm not scared to bench Odell. It's not the Odell of the Giants anymore. Throw him on the bench.
He's just nasty. He's probably one you got to play the matchup, unfortunately. Yeah. Which I know you name lovers out there. You don't want to. Probably pains you every week to bench Odell, but
right. Oh my God, Odell!
He's Odell. Did you see his catch 5 years ago? You gotta use him.
Next, you got another Dolphin on here. Only one this episode. Mike Gesicki with another 0.
Hurts the Dolphins fan podcast. Gesicki 0, yeah.
Shaheen, Adam Shaheen had a touchdown. Smythe had a touchdown near the red zone. So obviously, he has games where he has 90+ yards and 8 catches, 130 yards he had before. This is his second game with 0. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but they're obviously using other tight ends in the red area, and you don't want this kind of floor with a tight end.
I don't because you can't even say it's because Fitzpatrick didn't even break 200 yards, so you can't say it because last week he threw for 350 and he still had a terrible game. So I don't know what the deal is. Maybe they're just writing him out of the game plan. Maybe their defenses are preparing better for him, trying to take him out of the game. I don't really know what the answer is, but he's turning into someone that you can't use.
High ceiling, low,
basement.
A floor 0 almost.
Basement floor.
He can also pop off for a lot of yards. And
as you saw, he had the 9 catches. So
beware.
Tight end's a position you can stream more easily than anything. So I think unless he has I can't even say a good matchup because he just played the Jets and he didn't got a 0. So you might have to look elsewhere if you're a Gesicki owner. Unfortunately, kills me to say that.
Who we got next here?
Next we got Juju on that beat. He stinks.
5th receiver on the team.
Yeah, he's
2 catches, 6 yards
in a game without Deontay Johnson. It's just really bad. I mean, they blew him out of the water, so
They didn't throw that much, but
still.
he's been a disappointment all season. Besides week 1, we had those 2 touchdown catches.
I saw the thing. He has gone over 85 yards one time since Antonio Brown left the Steelers.
That's awful.
Which, like, I found that very hard to believe, but, like, that's ridiculous if you think about it.
That's really bad.
Almost 2 whole seasons, he's gone over
Right.
85 yards one time, and he's supposed to be this god wide receiver 1.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's a really scary stat.
Who do they play next week?
They play the Titans undefeateds, play each other.
I mean, it might be a shootout, but like I think I'm in a league with 3 flexes, 3 receivers, so I can start 6 receivers if I wanted to, and I don't think he's one of my best 6. And I drafted him in I think the 4th round or 3rd round.
Yeah,
I think 4th round.
I have him in a league as well.
She's just garbage. I think you got to throw him on the bench until he has a game where he like shows some life or gets over 85 yards.
I mean, unless you're okay with 2 for 6s every game and less than 20 yards receiving, if you can spare that and still win games. But no, I think you definitely got to bench him now. He's proven that he can't be used.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbearable.
Then our last dud, we got Aaron Rodgers against the Bucs. He had 160 yards, 2 picks, 1.7 fantasy points in our league.
Yikes.
I mean, when you have a player like Rodgers, you never expect like a straight dud game like this.
You
like
never
1
expect
point.
no touchdowns. I don't
Right.
think you can ever expect that from him.
At least over 200 yards, too.
Bucs are good, though.
Yeah, their defense looked insane. They're
really good.
blitzing the hell out of them. So, I mean, I think this is kind of just like a blip. They're still using Rodgers every week.
Yeah.
They were the highest scoring offense in the league before this game. They fucked me bad on a parlay. Screwed up my whole parlay, but that's how she goes.
That's how it goes. So
We're going to dip into the injury bugs here.
Dutterson's done.
There's some pretty notable injuries, I'd say.
Yeah, actually, some big names on this list.
First, we have Johnny Smith of the Titans.
Shout out Reg.
Left with an ankle injury. I think it was an ankle. Yeah.
Yeah, his ankle. Yeah.
His replacement.
Very early, too.
Yeah. His replacement, Anthony Ferkser. 9 targets, 8 catches, 113, and a TD, which is insane for a tight end. I don't know if this is going to continue, but I think he's obviously worth a look.
Yeah.
They do have the Steelers next, like we mentioned, so.
I'll say with Johnny's been like a top 5 tight end. And if he's out, you have to think whoever steps in is going to get the same role because that's just how they run the offense. So Johnny's out. Ferkser. I've said it. I tried to say it.
Ferkser.
Yeah. Okay, I put the S in front of the R for some reason. The K. I mean, right. Ferkser. Anthony Ferkser. All right.
So I think if you want like a fun tight end to pick up, go pick him up.
If you have one of the elites,
or if you have Jonnu, yeah.
If you have Mark Andrews, he's on a bye next week. So yeah, go look, Derek.
Next you have Raheem Mostert, the Niners, who was ruled out to start the second half.
Poor Reg.
Right, with an ankle injury. He was ruled out quickly, which is never a good sign. He's always banged up. He got hurt earlier in the year. He's hurt again. He's been good while he's played, but who was the person they brought in? Jermichael Hasty?
Hasty. Going off, too.
9 carries, 37 yards. McKinnon only had 6 touches. We saw earlier in the year McKinnon was the guy, but now it looks like
Hasty.
Yeah.
Or they're going to split probably. That's what I guess if you were to miss time.
Yeah, I don't know how you go about this. I feel like
I think it's a situation to avoid.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Like, you don't want to start one of these guys and they come away with like 3 touches. Like Jeff Wilson wasn't inactive yesterday. Held he scratched, so I don't know what's going on.
So Hasty just came
He's just complicated.
Yeah,
off the practice squad, they said. And started eating.
Crazy.
Next, you got 2 Eagles, 2 Birds. Zach Ertz.
Shocker.
He was on our famine list, right?
Yeah. Probably should be the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Guy stinks.
Out for at least 4 weeks with an ankle sprain, high ankle sprain.
Terrible. Really terrible.
I mean, if you Ertz owners weren't panicked from his play before this, obviously you're forced to panic now with an injury. Richard Rodgers.
I was going to say, I think if you've held on to Goddard, I think he's supposed to come back not this week, the week after, because it's a short week. I think
he'll eat.
He'll be ridiculous. He'll be in the top 5 tight ends if he does play. But you got something you have to monitor. But yeah, Richard Rodgers, who's been like actually pretty heavily involved with Goddard out and Ertz playing. Now without Ertz, I think he
might be a streamer Thursday.
Might have to be someone you could potentially use on Thursday night. Yeah, if you're in a bind.
Whoa, this man's dropping words.
Oh my God, this guy.
Our next, the last injury we had to cover is Miles Sanders. He's supposed to miss 1 to 2 weeks with a knee injury. They didn't say what it was yet, but they play Thursday night. He's going to miss that game. So I think Boston Scott is obviously the next man up who's going to get the most looks. Maybe a little
Definitely PPR league will definitely be involved heavily.
He's only owned in 14% of league, so I think he's a flex play this Thursday against the Giants. I think they'll obviously be a close game.
Yeah.
Or they shouldn't be down at least.
Yeah, I mean, the way they've been playing, they just held their own against probably arguably one of the better teams, and they've been playing pretty well. So, I mean, I think they should handle the Giants, but God only knows.
Facts. All right, we're going to wrap it up with 3 waiver ads for y'all. First up, we got Tim Patrick of the Broncos receiver.
Justin's favorite player.
Starting this week. Had 4 grabs, 101 yards, 7 targets.
Against Gilmore, too.
Yeah, some of them was, yeah. He has 12-plus fantasy points in 3 straight games. He also had a 19-point game in the middle of that. So I think he's looking like their number 1 receiver, not Jerry Jeudy.
No.
And he also gives a nice amount of deep passes and deep balls to him. So, and they play the Chiefs this week, so they should be forced to throw. So I think he could be a sneaky flex play.
You handle that, bro. That's your favorite player. I ain't got nothing to add. Next up, we got, like we already said, we got Boston Scott. It's only 14% of leagues, but bye weeks, injuries, probably someone that a lot of people are going to have to pick up and use this week just because of the role he's going to have without Miles Sanders. So, yeah, really simple right there.
Then our last one we got, if he's 68% owned, which should be higher, but it's not. It will go high after this. Is Ryan Tannehill,
MVP candidate.
364 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Do you have any?
No.
Right, only 1 pick and a fumble. But I mean, he's looking like their offense is insane right now.
Yeah, unstoppable.
He's had his fantasy points by week are 20, 32, 8, 34, 34, which is insane.
It's crazy.
Their offense is looking great, like I said, and if he's still in your league, go get him. I think he might appear on some championship teams.
Yeah, I think he's because QB's turned into a weird position. I feel like it's not as deep as we thought it might be.
For sure. It ain't.
So
I'm not falling for that again next year. I'm not falling for it.
I mean, you said the same thing with tight ends, and they all suck. Yeah. So, but yeah, Tannehill, if somehow he's available in your league, please go get him. He's God.
That wraps up this episode. Hope y'all liked the little scenery change and whatnot. Like always, if you like the video, subscribe to us. Just tell your friends, tell your mom. She wants to watch us. She probably won't mind watching us.
Wow.
Go look, hit up the socials, with the follow and any line-up questions. We had some people reach out to us before the Sunday games, which is nice. We replied on Twitter. Maybe they should start, whatnot. So we'll see y'all on probably Thursday night. Probably drop another video. So
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see y'all then. Deuce.